The Her Business by Design podcast is for female business owners looking for inspiration and ideas on how they can elevate their leadership and level up their business and profits. We explore all aspects of business ownership with a particular focus on empowering women to be strong leaders by providing them with the knowledge to cultivate a positive and productive business culture. So join us, Elaine Richards and Tamara Lloyd, founders of Business by Design Duo, for inspired chats with our favourite female business owners to uncover their journey, tips and ideas to help you in business.
Hello, Tamara. How are you today?
Well, I'm a little bit husky, but I'm feeling good, thank you. So excuse my masculine voice, or is it my sexy voice? I'm not sure which.
I don't know. I'm not going to comment, but I know you've been a little bit under the weather, and it's nice that you could still join us.
Yes, wouldn't miss it.
I hope you're feeling better. But yes, for our listeners, you have been a little bit unwell, but we're going to soldier on and push on through, because it's been an interesting week that we have had. We've had quite a few discussions with some clients, and there's a topic that seems to be coming back up quite regularly, and I think it's one that we should share with our listeners, and that's around having a clear vision. And I feel like some of the businesses we've spoken to have unfortunately hit a bit of a brick wall.
Yep.
And they've reached out to us, which is great, but it's evident that what is lacking and missing in their businesses is a true path and a clear vision for what's ahead, and a plan. So I thought we would share and have a little bit of a discussion around this, Tamara.
I think it's a great topic, and I think it's relevant for all business owners, but I think also in life. You know, I guess everyone has a different way that they like to live their lives, but certainly I know for both of us and a lot of the people that I guess we spend a lot of time with, it's always has been about having a vision of where you want to get to. I think it's still really, really important, to enjoy that journey along the way. But I mean, the discussions that I know you're referring to are, I think when things get a bit challenging in business, what can pull you through and get you through is having a clarity of vision as to where you want to get to, because I think that does help you move through those difficult times and make the right decisions that are necessary to move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think on a personal level, a couple of the discussions I've had with people that have either got to a point in their life where they're starting to think of retirement, like what's the plan and vision around that? And unfortunately, a friend of a friend who had no plan was retiring and was a little bit hesitant, but unfortunately passed away. And he was sort of a little bit excited but not excited. But I think across your entire life you need to have a plan and a vision. And, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, right, well, when the time comes for me, when I want to retire, what is my plan? I want to make sure I've got a direction and hobbies, and I'm not going to sit there and twiddle my thumbs. But in a business world, absolutely, this discussion in the last week, it's quite strange that it's come up so many times. So.
Absolutely. And I do recall, I remember vividly having this discussion with my business coach at the time. This is before I think you came on board as a partner. I'm not sure whether you're in the business or not, but Ross has been our business coach, or my business coach, for sort of, I don't know, over 10 years, I think. And the very first meeting, I remember he said to me, "Okay, Tamara, so what's your vision for your life and your business?" And I just sat there a little bit like speechless. I don't know. And look, I am someone that does have a vision. Like, I did have a vision of that I wanted to get the business to a certain level, wanted to grow the rent roll. That was sort of a big thing for me. So I sort of knew that. But in terms of then, because your business and your life or your lifestyle are so connected, and one leads to the other and vice versa. So I hadn't really looked at it, I think, from what was my life going to look like and how did I want my life to look. And he sort of said to me, and he could see my bit of confusion on my face, and he said, "We'll take all the worries about money and, you know, all that out of the way. Just have the permission, give yourself permission to just dream." And he said, "This could take a little while." And he was right. I think it took me weeks, months to really, I think it might have been the next time we caught up, which was sort of every couple of months, I'd sort of clarify that it was really hard to give myself permission to not allow finances to get in the way or put a cap on what I wanted. And I guess to some degree we all do that a little bit, but it did help me broaden by giving myself that permission to go, well, you said not to worry about the money side of things, which seems kind of wrong, but it's actually right. Like if you really want to grow as a person and achieve certain things, you do need to remove that cap that you put on yourself or that your upbringing is put on you, except there's a lot of talk around that.
And I think removing the negativity of, oh, I can't do that right now, or excuse me, I haven't got the finances, or, you know, oh, that would be just not achievable.
Yeah, way beyond me.
Absolutely. So I think if I look at my personal journey and I look back and I think I would have never, like you always want, you know, the beautiful relationship, the marriage, the children, the house. And I think to myself in my career, I always wanted to do real estate, but then for me the journey was, okay, I got my license, I started on reception, you know, and the plan, looking back now, it didn't go directly as I had hoped.
And I think that's the thing. I think that's really important for people to remember, that it often
doesn't go as planned.
No.
But you seem to find your way back, don't you? And I think over the years, you know, sometimes you've got to go forward a little bit, but back a few more steps and then
sideways.
Absolutely. And you get thrown so many curveballs along the way and you've got to dust yourself off and keep going. But I think in the background, you've got to, and in a business sense, you've got to have a vision. And we used to have a vision board. And we would obviously work together and we were there to support each other. And unfortunately, not every business owner's got that, which we have seen. And but they're quite valuable. But going back to your vision, looking at where it's at and what the end goal is, I think too with Ross over the years that I've worked with him, you sometimes have to look at the end result that you want and work out how you're going to get there along that way.
Yeah.
So,
and when you go off path, and it will go off path because, you know, humanity's, you know, fire of nature. Going back to, I'm not sure if we've mentioned this in the podcast before, but a time when we had a bit of a walkout from our office.
Well, hang on, let's go back a step.
Okay.
We introduced change into our business.
So we did.
We had a new business leader that came on and the team had already criticised, judged and were negative towards this new person coming in.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they'd heard on the grapevine that he's going to bring change and it's just going to be a disaster. So they made that decision.
Yeah, they made that decision. And then what did they do, Elaine?
They left. Oh, they went. Oh, hang on.
No, you missed an important part that we only found out later.
They went and saw the clairvoyant that was next door to us and they had a reading.
Yes,
and
pretty much all of them did. And what did that reading say, Elaine?
Oh, bad things are on the horizon. Get out. No.
Pretty much said things are about to blow up, so leave, basically get out of there. So everyone got out of there and then things blew up. She was right. But yes, but you know
but
what?
Only
it was
after they'd made that decision.
Correction, that's what I'm saying, because we had no staff left in that department. But you know what? It was an absolute blessing in disguise, and it really was in disguise because at the time we were so stressed. We pretty much had our whole property management department walk out. We had a head of department that was quite a strong leader. I think he
was
offered,
a male.
Yeah, and he was a male, and we hadn't had a male in that position before. So I think there was that fear for whatever reason. He was a lovely guy, and he did have some great things that he brought into that business. What we though had to do, it was so difficult. I remember just you and I looking at each other going, and this person, and I think there's a few swear words, and we just said, okay, we've just got to sit down and put a plan together. And at that time it meant you and I jumping into that department more. We had to sort of put other things on hold to support him because he couldn't do everything. And we had to put a plan into place. We knew what our vision was, our end goal was, but at that point in time we were so far away from it because we had no staff to manage all these properties. We had, I don't know how many we had at that time. It might have been 400 or...
I don't think it was that. It was probably low 300s. But
we didn't have... The thing was the department had become quite cliquey. It wasn't probably the greatest department anyway because of... You know, there was a few newer people that
they were partying hard.
Yeah,
on
they were
weekends,
partying hard, and they didn't really have. Look, I won't go into it, but it wasn't really the right culture for people anyway. So we had the opportunity at that point to build the culture of that business, of
reset.
of that department, reset, recruit. It was hard. It was stressful. But because we had that clarity of vision, we go, okay, this is where we're going. And the department head, he was on board. He could see our vision. And so the three of us together created a plan and put it into action. And we then knew, I think the good thing about that was we go, okay, end goal here, but for the next 3 months, this is what we're going to do. And we knew that we weren't going to get out of the shit, so to speak, for a good 3 months. So we weren't surprised every time there was an issue. It was like, okay, issues are going to come in. We've got 3 months of this. We're going to turn it around. And we did. And obviously we moved forward, and he was within our business for quite a number of years and did an amazing job of, helping build that team, put structures into place. So I think, just without that clarity of vision though, it would have been so easy to say, oh my God, let's get rid of the department, let's sell it, let's, this, that, or he's the wrong person, we made the wrong decision. But we didn't, because he fitted with our larger vision. The rest of the team didn't actually fit with that larger vision.
Yeah, and I think it's a skill in itself to actually take a step outside of the environment that's just imploding and really sit down and go, okay, it's happened, I can't change it, how am I going to move forward? And I think that took a few days to get our head around that. And I think I was probably a bit more in the negative and angry and really annoyed and quite rightly, I think. And then it was also caretaker mode, because we had all the clients that we had worked so hard to create and build. We didn't want to lose them. So yet certainly we were plugging holes left, right and centre. But I think once you make that decision, you've got to remove that mindset and focus heavily on the path ahead and, try and bring that positivity back into the environment, because otherwise you can get so caught up in it, and it can just eat away inside your business and flow through to your other areas inside 100%. Your business. So I think that was probably a big struggle for us, but in the end we got there because obviously we sat down and we had that vision and that clear plan moving forward.
I think the other thing, it's slightly a side topic, but just to say we were pretty honest with our owners, our clients as well, just say, look, we're going through a few challenges at the moment, bear with us, because we were at that point getting a few complaints coming through because we couldn't live up to the customer service that we had done and we'd wanted to do, we'd promised people, but we knew we wanted to get there. So we were pretty honest with people when they called through, and if they had an issue or a concern, we would just say, look, this is how it is, bear with us, give us a couple of months, we promise we're going to get this back on track. And look, I think overall
I think we were
that
really
honesty, because we had all, like you and I had that relationship with the clients.
Yeah.
So they did trust us, but their patience was waning. So, I think in terms of having a clear vision, it is important. It can take time. And I think even in our business where we are now, we've obviously started a relatively new business by Design Duo.
Yes.
We have, in the last 6 months, we set up a business. We had a sort of what we thought was a vision. It wasn't totally clear, but we kind of knew what direction we're going with business coaching. We then had a bit of a name change and a logo change during that last 6 months. We've also now, we weren't really wanting to go down that real estate side of things because I guess we'd been in it for some time. We wanted a bit of a break from it, but we have now had a bit of a break, and we are getting, I guess, a lot of calls from agents wanting our coaching, also particularly from a property management side of things. So I think we're a bit more open to that now, but it has taken us a while, I'd say 6 months or so, to really now clarify this vision. So we can do this and we can do that. We can work with businesses that are non-real estate, and we can work with real estate, and it's really all about leadership and culture. It's still the same thing.
For us, the journey has been a rewarding one, and it's been one of, we've been doers. We've got out of our comfort zone, and we've put ourselves in the environments where we can get some really constructive feedback from people. We've networked, we've gone and signed up for courses, we've travelled, we've hit some lows along the way.
Absolutely.
But we've learnt, and together we've supported each other through that, and it's been a good journey. But where we've landed, we've certainly pivoted. We've changed, but I think it's in the end for the better, and we've got to where we need to be.
And I think that we couldn't have got directly to this point. And I think that's the thing when you create a plan or a vision. It's taken 6 months to probably get a clear vision, but we didn't get directly there. We probably couldn't have got directly to that in the first week because we had to go and do some other learnings and talk to some different people along the way for us to now have that clarity. And I think that's the same, when you put a plan into place, like you were saying before with, you'd planned to do real estate years ago and then you sort of didn't. You might not always get there the way you think you will. Like your vision won't show you exactly how you're going to get there, but if you've got that vision and you keep working towards it, you'll go zigzag all around, but you'll get there eventually, or maybe a better version of it even. So I think it's just to spend the time, give yourself the time to think.
Yeah, and I think over my life I've looked at all the hiccups and the hurdles and I think to myself, what's the worst thing that can happen? I'm 48 years old. I'm still here. I'm still financially okay. I've got a beautiful family, like really. And I try and instill this into my kids because sometimes, when these little hurdles come and they're so overwhelming and you can lose sight of reality.
Yeah, the bigger picture.
At the end of the day, like, Tam, who cares if we stuff up a podcast? Like, we're still here the next week, whether anyone's listening to us now. But do you know what I mean, though? Like, you've got to have fun along the way and
put things into perspective too. There's always, people that are in worse situations, going through more difficult things, and then, you will go through difficult times. But, if you've got the people around you, and I think that's another important part.
Yeah.
I think whether, we were fortunate to have each other in terms of a business partner, but we also had a business coach. So I definitely think if you're a business owner, make sure you surround yourself with people that can help you shape that vision, or you can share that vision with, that might help you keep accountable, or that you can just run problems through. Yeah, advice, or sometimes just unload on. I mean, sometimes you just need to unload without any advice given.
Yep. But do you know what? Sometimes you can be so heavily in the thick of things that you cannot see the forest from the trees. And there's no shame in going out and asking a competitor or a business coach or someone with fresh eyes to go over what your plan is, or to sit down and help you make that plan. Yeah. Like, I know
it takes courage, and I think sometimes it takes a while for people to get to that point, unfortunately.
Yeah. Unfortunately, yes, possibly true. But I think in the end run, if you want that change, you've got to make those decisions, and I think you'll thrive for it. So.
100%. And it's interesting because we had on our podcast a few weeks ago, and you should go back and listen to it. It might have been actually last week, Kirsten Jones from She Studio. And so she has always had a coach. She's set up a few businesses in her time, and she's always had business coaches, but she had us come in from day one and how quickly she's been able to get her business up and running. I mean, she's an experienced business owner in terms of set up a few businesses, but it doesn't matter, I think, how experienced you are. If you can try and get someone to help you from the start, if you're in a position to be able to do that, you will get up and running quicker, because they can, I think, as a coach or someone on the outside that you might trust, they can see things differently to what you can when you're in the thick of it.
Yeah.
And just keep you on that right track, like having a coach for, your fitness or whatever. I went and got so I've been doing weight training for over a year, and I thought, I'm going to change it up a little bit. And so I had a PT session. Well, I can tell you my muscles are feeling it. Because
changing it up a bit.
Yes, changed it up a bit. I'm more puffed during it, and I'm feeling better. And I'm thinking, wow, I probably should go see a PT every 3 months or so, just to change things up, because I needed
get better results.
Yeah, and I think it's the same in business. You need, I'm not saying, call us and we'll be your coaches. Yes, we will, perhaps, if we fit, but just have someone in your business life that you can share your vision with and bounce ideas off. I think that's really important.
And I loved Ross's saying, your big, hairy, audacious goal. Yeah. So I think our listeners should sit down and plan that. What is that one thing that you want to achieve, personal life and in your business, and write it out.
Say it again.
Your big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yeah,
I love it. At first, it's, what is it, bahog.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, I actually enjoyed sitting down. We used to do it, I don't know if we did it once a year, but then pull it out and revisit it and see whether you've achieved it or look back on the journey and think, oh, you've gone off track a bit, but the end goal's still the same. So what do I need to do to still get there? But I think what we did do and continue to do is, we've got our little vision or our plans in Google Drive. Sometimes it's good to have them visual on a board. We used to have our whiteboard, which we'd roll up and down.
Actually, I need to get a whiteboard in our studio so we can continue to write down ideas.
But it's a great feeling to mark off and to tick off. It's like a to-do list, isn't it? Yeah. But I think for our long-term goals, we definitely had them visually on our board.
Well, I think you've got your major vision and then you have smaller goals along the way, whether they're, some monthly things or quarterly or even annually of where you want to get to. But, your vision is kind of potentially your end goal. And we had that and we said when we get to that, we'll review what we want to do. Do we either want to go again or are we going to sell the business? And for us, we decided to sell our business. But it could have been just as easy, not as easy, but it could have just been that we went again and took it to that next level. But we wanted to do podcasts and talk to you guys.
Well, I think that's been, I'd like to think that's been really helpful for our listeners. And I hope that they're able to sit down and either go back and visit their vision or maybe make a time to redo their vision for where they want to be. And I think when you put it out to the universe, when you actually write it down, it becomes real and then work out how am I going to get to that. So I'm a big believer in that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just also giving yourself permission, the time out to create that vision, whether it's your personal life, business life, combination of that, just give yourself permission.
And don't be afraid to dream big.
Yes, big, hairy and audacious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's been an enjoyable session, Tam, I have to say. So thank you. I hope you're feeling a bit better. And
thank you. Fighting fit.
I know you're off for a little holiday up to Port Douglas, maybe tomorrow. So I hope you have a fabulous trip.
Thank you.
I'm a bit jelly, but I think the weather's going to be good here in Melbourne.
Yes. It's all about the weather for us, as you can tell.
Thank you to our listeners. And as always, if there's any feedback, we'd love you to jump on to our website and
www.businessbydesignduo.com.au. There is a business resources tab that you can go to and then a work with us tab for different things that you might want to look at.
And if there's any topics you'd like us to cover, please let us know. Have a great week and have a fabulous time away, Tam.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in and congratulations on getting to the end. If you loved this episode, why don't you hit the subscribe button, share this podcast with a friend and leave a review. Reviews and referrals are the best way to help a small business. If you are interested in downloading any of our free business resources, go to businessbydesignduo.com.au and click on the Business Resources tab. We're Elaine and Tamara and we can't wait to have you back for our next episode. You can connect with us on socials, Business by Design Duo, or go to our website, businessbydesignduo.com.au. Have an amazing day.